One secret that I always tell my clients is that we can delay our taxes. I have clients coming to me and they say, Davie, do we really need to pay this tax? Can we just let it go, or just, tell the tax office that, look, it's just bad debt, let's just write it off? Unfortunately, the answer is no, you can't do that. You always have to pay taxes, but there is a special way to do this. We can pay it slowly over time. They're called payment arrangements with the tax office. Basically, if you owe a tax liability to the tax office, you're always welcome to organize a payment arrangement with the tax office if you can't pay it straight away. So the first thing you need to know when you go and call the tax office, you need to know how much tax you have to pay. Make sure that you find out from your accountant or find out from the tax office how much you actually owe. The next step is what the terms are. So how long do you want to pay it, and how often do you want to make those repayments? So you can make weekly, fortnightly, monthly repayments. I believe the tax office prefers under 2 years. It's easy to get the payment arrangement through if you organize the payment arrangement to be within 2 years. So the first thing you do before you call the tax office is lodge everything up to date. So have you lodged all your tax returns? Have you lodged your business activity statements? The reason why is because the tax office is not going to organize a payment arrangement with you if they don't even know how much tax liabilities you have up to date because you haven't lodged your tax returns. Next thing you also need to do is make sure that you have enough money in the bank and know how much money you can afford to pay. Normally the tax office will ask for like a first installment, and that brings us to the next point, right? How much money you need to pay, because yes, you're going to pay for this payment plan, but you might have other tax liabilities that is going to be due next month or in 2 months or 3 months time. Don't just think about your current tax liability, but think about your future tax liabilities as well. So once you've called the tax office, you've told them the terms, they've accepted. And one rule that you need to follow is basically you need to lodge all your tax returns and your BAS's activity statements, everything up to date, and pay that up to date moving forward. Another point about payment arrangements is never default on your payment arrangement. So don't organize a payment arrangement you're going to default on. The tax office actually keeps these records. So I've had a client that called up and they asked for a payment arrangement, and the tax office went up to me and said, this is the 4th time they organize a payment arrangement. Can your client actually afford to pay their taxes? Are they actually going through any problems? Are they trading insolvent? Obviously, the client was actually only organizing payment arrangements for like $5,000, and they said, can I just delay my payment till next month? So they shouldn't have organized payment arrangements for those cases, because the more they organized, it actually affected the history of the tax office. And the tax office was like, can these guys really afford to pay for these payment arrangements? And they were a bit skeptical about it. So don't default on the payment arrangements. Don't organize too much payment arrangements to the tax office. Keep it between 1 or 2 if you have to. Okay, so the next things you gotta take note now that the payment arrangement is in place is that the tax office usually charge an interest on it. Once you've pretty much paid most of the payment arrangement off, think about calling the tax office and trying to remit any interest they've charged. Give them the reason why the payment arrangement was in place in the first place. Tell them that you're paying on a monthly basis on time. Tell them that you're meeting future liabilities on time. You're lodging all your tax returns. So if you've done everything and you've been a good boy or a good girl, then they'll most likely 9 out of 10 times remit your interest. So let's just recap. Before you go call the tax office, find out what the tax liability is, find out your terms, and make sure that you've lodged everything up to date. Next thing you need to do is make sure that you can meet future liabilities, and then once you organized it, make sure that you don't default on this. But they're basically the ways to delay your payment.